Isn't sleep an amazing, strange, mysterious thing? For humans, about a third of our lives are supposed to be spent sleeping, and some of that dreaming. And dreaming itself is such a mystery. They haven't quite figured out what this is all about. Well, let's see what the Dreamweavers Oracle Deck has to say today about dreaming. Welcome back to Sweet Infinity. My name is Karen. Let's read from the Dreamweavers Oracle Deck by Colette Baron-Reid. This is such a lovely deck. It has these huge cards with very unique handmade art. And I'll be reading from the booklet as well. If you are interested in purchasing this deck, I'm going to leave you some links in the description below. It has these very dream-like images, true to its name, beautiful original artwork. It's a small deck, but the cards are big and they're just very, very beautiful and profound. Every time I read this deck, I definitely have some amazing intuitive energy that I get from this deck. So I highly recommend getting it. Since this is a Dreamweavers deck, and what I like to do is write stories that I get inspired for through my dreams a lot of times. In fact, I've written a story about a tarot and oracle reader, and the story is called The Dreamweavers, actually. So today, let's read about what it is that we need to get from our dreams. I don't always sleep as much as I should, or as well as I should, as deeply as I should. And I know that sleep is a very, very important part of a good mental health and physical health. And so I have had a lifelong desire to get good and enough sleep, but I always feel like, well, there's so much to do. I want to get up. I want to get up and stay up and just sleep as minimal as I can get away with. But actually, we need sleep. So let's talk about our relationship with sleeping and dreaming and see what comes up for you, for me, for all of us. Weavers watch the dragons fly. So this deck has this imagery and then like a phrase, and you can just go by your intuition or you can read from the book. I like to do a combination of both. And in here we have these eyeballs looking at this bunch of dragons flying up. And if you see this as a face, this is obviously a dream experience where this person is sleeping and watching these dragons fly. Let's read about it. Weavers watch the dragons fly. Essential meaning, being the observer, curiosity, seeing the big picture and not taking anything personally. Sometimes we get so involved in our feelings about things we begin to believe we are those emotions. They become part of our identity, part of our story forever. Instead of understanding the transience of opinions, we become trapped by our beliefs about the world and our part in it. Those ideas harden and stiffen until they form a tight container around our possibilities. While a container can be a good thing, we can find ourselves trapped in an old story. A good question to ask now about the subject you want this oracle to illuminate is, what am I making this mean? What if you removed your assumptions? What if nothing is ever personal? Now is the time to look at your situation and see it for what it is. Step back and look at the bigger picture, to remain neutral and curious, and be willing to explore it from a different perspective. There is so much more to discover here, so it's important not to get caught up in being right or getting caught in the smallest details that obscure a more expansive potential. Even in the most joyful times, you will still run the risk of thinking it will always be that way, when everything will change and evolve, even transcend this forever place, because that is the truth of life. You are on a beautiful journey, and if you remain open and hopeful and willing to discover things that are unknown to you, that gift of curiosity will lead you to treasure beyond your wildest dreams. Like the Dreamweavers watch the dragons fly, so should you observe your inner and outer worlds in the same manner. When you really learn to pay attention and can say, that's interesting, the hidden doors of perception swing wide. Such wisdom has always lived inside you. Did you know you were so fortunate? Stay open. So yeah, that's interesting. It's about being an observer. One of the things that's amazing about meditation is that you start to understand and see your life and your consciousness and your experience from a slight distance. And you get in touch with a part of you that is observing you. Some people call it your soul, your higher self, There are many names for it, but it's the part of you that is observing you as you go through your life. It's a part of you that was there when you were a child at different stages of your life, at different experiences. You have lived those experiences, but if you meditate and if you journal and if you do these things on a regular basis, you learn to observe yourself while you live your life. So there's a part of you that's living your life, and there's a part of you that's observing you live your life. And that other part of you that's the observer, I call it the observer, is somebody who has a perspective of your entire life and therefore has a wisdom about the big picture, can see your life like from above, like from the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension. They can see the entire map of your life while you're in it and you're walking around and doing your thing. They can see it like they're in a satellite, or they are the satellite, right? And so this card and this whole deck really, but especially this card, encourages you to get in touch with that part of you. It doesn't mean you stop living your life. Obviously, you still have to take care of everyday business, but become more in touch with the part of you that is the observer. Just notice and just understand. And you don't have to try to figure out what it is or who it is and all that, because ultimately there's no real answer to that. I think it's more important to be in touch with it than to try to figure it out, because if you try to figure it out, you're still kind of lost in that egoic individual self that you feel while you're in this life, which is important for us to be in this life. But when you're dreaming, when you're meditating, you are in touch with something more than yourself, with a bigger part of yourself, let's say, with the sort of a bridge between you and the larger universe. The observer is a bridge between you and whatever you want to call the larger universe you're part of, God, the soul, the ocean, the great one, the great mother, whatever you want to call it. And so the observer is very important. And in order to get in touch with the observer, it requires you to spend time meditating and getting in touch with that part of you. And that's where the importance of sleep comes in as well, right? When it's time to say goodbye. So that's the other thing, is that I have a hard time saying goodbye even to the day, where I don't want to stop working or stop reading or stop doing whatever it is that I'm doing. And sometimes I have a hard time saying goodbye to each day. So this card's meaning says, when it's time to say goodbye, it's time to end one way of being and move on to a new chapter in your life. This can be accompanied by pain, because you have to say goodbye to someone you love, someone that has meant something to you, someone important. You may not want to let it go, but you must face the loss and grief and bless what was. Other times it's necessary that you purposefully put an end to something. Perhaps you need to walk away from an unhealthy relationship to be true to yourself, or maybe a connection has run its course and that's just how it is. Right now you're meant to close the door on a part of your life so you can begin something new, something meaningful and designed for your beautiful self-expression, success, and happiness. You can be sure it's time for a different experience, a more aligned, authentic way for you to be in the world. You've come so far. Be brave and bless all that has come before you. Now, who will you become? So much magic awaits. So, this is in the context of this reading. It's interesting because if you are somebody who has trouble sleeping, or who doesn't sleep very deeply, or doesn't sleep enough, a lot of it might be tied up with your inability to say goodbye, just to be able to let go. Because sleep involves a certain amount of surrender, a certain amount of letting go of control, letting go of the day, right? And that's always the difficult part if you're somebody who has had their own power taken from them at any point in your life, or have felt powerless, or have felt threatened or insecure in a deep way. It can be hard to let go and allow yourself to be in a vulnerable position of being asleep. I mean, when we're asleep, there's a vulnerability, right? We are asleep. We are physically unconscious, and for all intents and purposes. We are paralyzed even after you wake up sometimes, right? There takes some time. I don't know about you, but it takes me time to fully wake up, right? There's a grogginess there. And that's why people are drinking coffee and all these things. That kind of letting go is difficult if you're somebody who has a lot of trauma in your life. And that's understandable. And a lot of people take a lot of substances to fall asleep, and then they take substances to wake up. And substances can be a short-term kind of shortcut. However, ultimately what's needed is that inner ability to say goodbye, to say, you know what, that version of me, the day version, this day's version of me, I can let it rest. I can let her or him or them rest and start something new tomorrow. And it's not that easy. I can tell you it's not that easy for me. It's very difficult. There's so much I have to do. I always have to-do lists and things I'm planning. And I always feel like I'm not done enough. If I just stay up for another hour, I can just do this much more. And it becomes its own sort of crazy making thing, you know, where I don't actually end up achieving as much as I think I will in the time period because I'm completely exhausted. My brain's not working fully and I'm just kind of zoned out. But I still feel that I can't let go and I can't end the day because I haven't accomplished enough to earn another day, right? So yeah, that can happen. In the middle of the bridge. I personally love bridges. So in the middle of the bridge, essential meaning, learning from different viewpoints and life experiences, compassionate listening, meeting in the middle. Sometimes you get stuck seeing the world in a particular way. Maybe you've been indoctrinated to see things from a specific vantage point due to your past experiences. After all, society conditions us in the same way, encouraging us to follow the trodden path of this is how we do things. Maybe you've been comfortable throughout your life without finding it necessary to be open to different perspectives. Things have worked well so far, so why change? You're being invited now to see things from other points of view. It is the appropriate time for you to engage in deep listening as you learn from other people and situations that are completely different from your own. This is a divine orchestration and a celebration of nuance and complexity that will expand your capacity for understanding, love, and compassion. Stay open to whatever you may discover, trusting that it will change you for the better. This is also a brilliant moment for creative endeavors that will surely surprise you as you meet the divine halfway across the great divide. Allow these innovative ideas and new perspectives to expand your heart. This is a beautiful moment of exchanging gifts for the highest good. In the middle of the bridge, just know how truly blessed you are. That's interesting because I absolutely love bridges. I love the idea of bridges. I think bridges are basically the pinnacle of human civilization. The idea that two places that are completely separated, two pieces of land that are completely separated, are able to be connected through some human ingenuity and technology and materials that humans have put together so that people can walk or drive or ride horses over this bridge from one landmass to another. This is something that, I mean, if I was an alien and I was looking at humanity and seeing like, hey, I was trying to like measure the good that humanity has done versus the bad, the bridges, the whole idea of bridges would definitely be in the good pile because it'd be like, wow, you guys came up with this whole idea that through your just sheer ingenuity, you can connect two land masses via these things called bridges. And there's some amazing bridges on planet Earth. I don't know if you know about the bridges they're building in China, for example. They're old bridges everywhere on every continent in every country. There are new bridges that are being built, mostly in Asia, for example. And it's just incredible. It's amazing to see the ingenuity of bridges. So this card and about bridges and about meeting in the middle, that's very interesting because if you are the kind of person who has a difficult relationship with sleeping, or in my case, where you have a hard time even going to sleep and then you have a hard time getting back up after being asleep, there might be a way that you can navigate something in the middle where maybe others tell you, hey, you should sleep at the same time in the same place and have these sleep rituals that you repeat so that your body gets used to it in that way. Maybe some of us can't do that for some reason or another, but you can maybe meet halfway where you can have one ritual, where you can have one thing that you follow, right? Just one thing. Because it's really important to start with these baby steps and build on them. It's not that hard to change something if you start with small steps and slowly accumulate and keep on building up on your steps. So I like the idea of meeting in the middle. So for example, I can't always fall asleep at the same time, but maybe I can regulate my sleeping environment in some way that I haven't thought of before. Or maybe you can sleep around the same time. Or maybe you can avoid a certain substance just before you sleep. Or maybe you can put your phone away like an hour before you sleep and not have any screens in bed with you, because I know a lot of us are looking at our screens even while we're lying down. something. Just change like one habit. You don't have to do all of it, but just one habit. And just see how it feels for a few days, maybe a couple of days or a week or something, right? And see how that changes your sleep quality and how that changes your waking quality as well. So I like the idea of meeting in the middle. Let's do one more card. When the birds sing gratitude. So in this deck, and in general, I don't really read reverse cards. I just incorporate the meaning of the reverses and the whole polarity of it into my reading. So let's read from the booklet. When the birds sing gratitude. Essential meaning. Gratitude is the essential power of manifestation, the law of praise, saying thanks in advance of goodness. Right now, you're being reminded of the quickening power of the law of praise. Saying thank you before actually receiving those good things you desire in life is a magical, sacred act. You may have been taught to say grace over your food, blessing it and giving it thanks for nourishing your body. Most people know to say thank you after receiving something, expressing gratitude for what they have already. This is a conditional gratitude. You need the result to be there and complete before you feel it. The true manifesting power of gratitude is the declaration in advance of your needs being met. You do not need to rely on anything being in the outer world before you express appreciation for it. Saying thank you is the abracadabra of life. It calls beauty and grace to you, reminding you of your humility. As part of life, you are a grain of sand on the beach, blessed to live this brief time on earth. Gratitude is the key to your question right now. Can you be thankful for whatever happens? Can you show appreciation for the highest good of all and not just for yourself? Can you see this adventure called life through the eyes of gratitude, humility, and kindness? Yes, be thankful for all that you have experienced up till now, all your loved ones, fresh air, the food on your plate. Be grateful for the divinity in you. Look around you. All things are sacred. Praise what you see and what you don't yet see. Miracles are waiting for you to call them to life. Oh, what a beautiful card. Look at that. When the birds sing gratitude. So the idea is that there are so many things in life that you can be grateful for, I'm sure. If you don't already keep a gratitude journal of some kind, I highly recommend doing it. Even if it's one thing a day, something new that you can say that you are grateful for, write it down. There's a power in writing things down. And on top of that, this card is about being grateful for things you don't yet have, you don't yet know about, you haven't yet discovered. There's a theory that everything already exists, every timeline, every possibility, and that our consciousness chooses what it is that we end up bringing or manifesting into our lives, into our consciousness. You can agree with it or not, but I'm just saying that being grateful for something you don't yet have, that is magical. And I think you should try it. I mean, it's not going to hurt to try it. So genuinely feel it. Feel the gratitude that you will feel when you have the thing that you want, whatever it is. Feel the gratitude and keep feeling it. Don't do it just because you want to manifest it. Do it as if you already have it, because some version you already has it. And you're just expressing thanks for that. There's power in that. I think you'll see. So I think that that's a good thought to leave this reading with and to leave your day with. So next time you're falling asleep, and for a few times after that, I would suggest doing this exercise. Be thankful for what you don't yet have, but you want. Imagine the perfect scenario, the perfect person, the perfect relationship, the perfect financial situation, whatever it is. And in your mind, go to sleep thinking of that scenario and thanking the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, for that. Thank yourself. Thank your future self. Be thankful. Feel the thankfulness and imagine the good. Because as you fall asleep, you will find that you will be observing yourself, having these thoughts, these dreams, and maybe you'll meet in the middle. You might not get everything you want, but you'll get some version of it, some type of that thing. Because you're already thankful for it, you will attract it to yourself. You will be paving a path for that thing to come into your life by creating a thankfulness, a humility, and a kind of a friendly way. It's like, hey, why don't you come by if you want? You're welcome here. And I want to thank you for being here. Wouldn't you want to stop by somebody's house who has that attitude versus somebody who comes from a place of desperation and angst all the time? Be the kind of person that the kind of person or blessing of any kind wants to be with. And I think you will attract that more in your life. I hope that this has been dreamy and helpful and thoughtful in some way for you. I would love to hear from you. And I would love to know about your sleep ritual if you have any. What is it that you like to do that helps you fall asleep, that helps you stay asleep, that helps you maybe wake up happy and healthy and not groggy? And yeah, just love to hear from you. Thanks for listening. And if you want to purchase this deck, please see the description below. I'm also writing short stories that are based on tarot and oracle. And I would just love it if you would join me on Patreon. Come back and I do another reading for you. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and always have a sweet infinity.